Bonjour. Today's lesson is all about the future, talking about the future and the verb tense that is called the future proche. So there are different ways to speak and write using a future time frame. So we're looking at this one specifically today, but there are other ways as well, which I will be doing other videos on. So, but what is a tense? We're talking about tenses. A tense is the form of the verb that shows when something happens. So it's the grammar that we use to show time. So as an example in English, if we're talking about in the past, using the verb to eat, we would say I ate. In the present, we'd say I eat. And remember, the present also means something you do regularly, not just something you're doing right now. And the future, I will eat or I'm going to eat. So each tense has its own verb endings or structures, and this is what we need to learn when we want to speak or write in French. And whether it's for conversation, whether it's for an exam, we all need to know these grammar tips. So here we've got I eat, in French, je mange. I eat or I am eating. There are not two different ways of saying this in French, so be very careful when you're trying to translate from English to French. You don't need an extra word for am. So je mange, I eat or I am eating. J'ai mangé, I ate. And je mangerai is one way of saying how I will eat, so using the future. So we translate it as I will eat, but we can also use I am going to eat. So what's the difference between a tense and a time frame? So the time frame is the overall time period you're referring to, past, present, or future. But it's not always about verb forms. It can sometimes be the context or the clues in the sentence that shows when something's happening. For example, hier, meaning yesterday, will tell us that something's in the past tense. It's a really useful thing to listen out to in your speaking exam and to look out for in the writing exam. Demain is tomorrow. So again, a clue of what tense we should be in. For the marking criteria for your GCSE exams or your IGCSE exams, doesn't tell you have to speak in a certain amount of time of tenses. You have to speak in the 3 time frames. That means that you can choose what tense you use. So you could use in French the tense that means I will. The one we're looking at today is I'm going. So the way we form this is the present tense of the verb aller plus an infinitive verb. So the verb aller as an infinitive, in the infinitive, it's irregular, so it doesn't follow a nice spelling pattern like verbs like manger, regarder, écouter, jouer. We know how they all are spelt the same, depending on who you're talking about or when you're talking about. They'll have a similar spelling at the end. But for the verb aller, you need to just learn how it's written because it's very, very random. Some of the words start with V, some of them start with A. But this is what we're going to use to speak in or write in the future proche. So je vais, I am going. So remember, this is the translation this time. Not I go, but I am going. So this second verb needs to be an infinitive, and this is the dictionary form. If you look up a verb, say you look up the word eat in the dictionary, it will give you the infinitive form. It's the pure form of the verb before we've changed it to who we're talking about or when we're talking about. There are 3 groups of regular verbs in French. There's verbs that end in ER in the dictionary, so in the infinitive. There's verbs that end in IR, and there are verbs that end in RE. And we just need to keep those verbs exactly how they are in the dictionary when you look them up, ending in ER, IR, or RE, after we've written, for example, I am going. So the infinitive can be translated as to do something. So here our example is je vais, the present tense of the verb aller, I am going, and then jouer, we've kept the er ending that we found when we looked it up in the dictionary. So je vais jouer au foot, I am going to play football. You can use other verbs as well instead of je vais, which will also give a future time frame. Je voudrais jouer, I would like to play. That also counts If you're thinking about your exams, it also counts as a future time frame because it's something that hasn't happened. It's something you would like to do. You can also use other verbs like je veux jouer au foot. I want to play football. Again, it's something that hasn't happened, so it will count as a future time frame for your exam. So we call these V verbs je vais, je voudrais, and je veux. And you can use all of them plus an infinitive verb to make up lots of different sentences. And it's a good idea in your exams, in your speaking or in your writing, to use all three of them if you can for variety of language. Have a go at writing your own sentences in the comments. Au revoir!